What is going on, guys? Today we are looking at Team of the Year, honourable mention, Marquinhos. Fact, we've got Brolight, better. We have got Marquinhos coming in at 135 on pretty much both consoles, and it's a shame because this card should be really nice, but I feel like his freeze is better. Even though obviously the position change is there, the CDM freeze, I feel like that is a much better card to be using than to be using this Team of the Year. He is probably one of the best centre-backs you can get for Ligue 1. We will have a look at that and give him a comparison to all of the Ligue 1 centre-backs and Brazilian centre-backs as well, because there is a couple there. But overall, he's just there. I don't get where the actual mentions came from this. There may be actual in real life data for this, but personally, in terms of FIFA, which I'm pretty sure the team of the season, the team of the year was based upon, isn't necessarily football related. Could be wrong. It's personally what I thought of the team of the year, but let's get into it. Let's see what Marquinhos can do. So we have got him as a 3-star. Obviously, this version is a centre back, so compared to the freeze, it is a little bit different because obviously the freeze is a CDM. You've got to rate him as a midfielder. You can kind of push in the element of putting him into CDM or putting him from CDM to centre back, because that can happen. Obviously, you can get a centre back that could go CDM. It's more than possible. But with this card, obviously 78 pace, I think that's pretty respectable in terms of a centre-back. Normally we'd say anything 80 and above is pretty meta for a centre-back, because then with a shadow you get a plus 10, which then would take it up to 90 plus. With 78, obviously with a shadow, that'd take him up to 88. Obviously then you would get 98 defending as well, so that is absolutely cracked. That would take him up to a 93 overall centre-back. Literally all of his defence stats would be above 95, and 3 of them would be 99. Then we have the physicals. We have 85 stamina, absolutely fine. 95 jumping for a 6-foot player, fantastic. 80 strength and 85 aggression, which I think is good enough. I think if you could kind of get away with maybe a +5 on the pace instead, would only take him to 83 pace, but it would give his physicals a massive boost up to 90 strength and 90 aggression. For me, I think the shadow is the most beneficial, but just in case if you kind of maybe had a faster centre back who's going to kind of maybe be that sweeper, and you use this guy as like the brute force tackler, it could be a potential. The anchor does take him up to a 94 overall, so I think it's kind of your choice. I feel like them two will be the only two chem stars that you'll be seeing. I do think shadow would be the better one, but anchor is always one in mind. 80 agility, 79 balance, it's about average. 88 composure is quite good. Obviously ball control and reactions are nice, and he does have 88 short and long pass, which again is very much a kind of CDM card coming out of him. But let's get into some gameplay, see some of the tackles that he did. So going into some gameplay, obviously we tried him out, and I thought he's going to be a good tackler. He's a standard centre-back, good at intercepting, good at getting the ball, and nice on a standing tackle. Other than that, maybe he's not necessarily a Varane, he's not necessarily a Rio, which is pretty standard, seeing as though he costs a tenth of the price as such. Obviously Varane's gold card is coming down, but in terms of how trying to get his road to the final is going to be a hell of a lot harder. So eventually the Varane gold will come out as not necessarily the most valuable centre-back. We've already got Team of the Year Van Dijk, Team of the Year Ramos, so there's plenty of centre-backs to choose from. But as we can see with obviously Marquinhos tackling wonderfully, he's obviously got a lot of interceptions on him, a lot of great standing tackles, and honestly he just wins the ball back. That is the biggest thing with him. Is I noticed he doesn't do that whole he tackles and they win the ball, he tackles and he wins the ball. He wins the ball most times. I'd say he's got a nice conversion rate of getting the ball and then doing something with it, and I think that is it's something that maybe is kind of just a bit of luck as well, because sometimes you can tackle with the best of them and then they just get the ball back. It just seems to happen. It depends on what the game's got programmed for you, but overall I was happy with him. Is he the best? Probably not. 130k? Probably not. But then if we do go into his overall, as you can see, 135 on pretty much both consoles, 168 on PC, and stat-wise, it's got the right stats in the right position. If I do whack the shadow on him right now, so pace you can tick off. I think that's a decent pace for a centre-back. Defending, again, not much more you can do there, bar from maxing 99s. And then the physical, I do like it. I feel like it's very averagey in terms of strength and aggression for a centre-back as we get into these real special cards coming out. But I think it can do, especially if you're using like a Ligue or a Brazilian side. And then dribbling-wise, you've got the reactions, you've got the composure. The balance and agility are not awful. They're not 60s and below like some centre-backs. So I think that can be justified as above average to an extent. And then passing, realistically, I only need these two. Well, really, I only need the short pass, and that's absolutely fine. So in terms of the actual core stats, I think he's absolutely brilliant. In terms of traits, leadership and long throwing, so nothing really too much to kind of talk about there. He is 26. He did start at Roma, then making his first move to PSG in the very first season, and from there he's managed to do a few things. FIFA 17 was his first team of the season. FIFA 18 he got another, 19 and 20. So we're on track for another team of the season at the very least. No informs as of yet. His best year was in FIFA 19, where he got 4 informs and a headliner with a team of the season. Incredible stuff. But he is one that's kind of just thrown to the side a little bit. Obviously, he was always overshadowed by Thiago Silva, so it's kind of nice to see him kind of flourishing in this opportunity. In terms of his teammates then, obviously I've got the link with Kazawa. If you finish that SBC, it's a cracking left back. I think he doesn't get as much credit as what he deserved, but I think he's a decent one. Obviously got Verratti, Navas has got a team at a group stage and an inform in fact. Other than that, Di Maria, Mbappe standards, and I don't think there's really Bernat, I suppose, a storyline. You could have gone with him. If we do go into Ligue and centre-backs then, because I know we've got Koscielny right at the start of the game. Volland we had for free. I weren't a massive fan of him, to be honest. Denea we finished. I think he's a cracking centre-back. Kimpembe, he's got more strength, but again, I feel like the pace will be better on Marquinhos. I think Kimpembe may be a bit more agile to an extent, but probably not enough to warrant maybe going with him instead. I think personally it'd be a toss-up between Marquinhos, Koscielny and Denea. They would be my 3 choices as centre-backs. And overall-wise, I've given him an 8 out of 10. I think he's solid. He's not quite up there with the meta 10s, but he's definitely not down below. I wouldn't call him an average centre-back. Maybe average when team of the season's out, but at the moment he's up there just because there isn't a huge amount of cards above 88 in terms of centre-back. He is relatively one of the new ones, and it's going to be a high one. I think he's got good stats. Overall, pretty decent. Let me know down below what you think. Did you pack any team of the year honourables? Let me know down below. Make sure to like and subscribe. And I'll see you all for next time.